Excellence Awards, is that what's called?
Evening of Excellence.
Excellence, yes. And their award was for utilizing resources, is that right?
Yes, maximizing and utilizing resources at the classroom level.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was there, the district accountability had a table, and I was there, and you didn't see me wave, but I didn't see you wave either, so. Anyway, you want to speak to anything about students or the award?
Yeah, I'll kind of speak to everything that way. One, we're just really excited. Last Friday was the senior checkout. So seniors finished their last final and picked up their caps and gowns and got their yearbooks. There was a spirit week all last week, so every day was designated as a spirit week. Friday happened to be walking yearbook, so they wore t-shirts and they signed each other's shirts. So that's when really I would say the graduation season kicked off, was last Friday. Today, Lissa was there today because she does have a senior student who is graduating, Matthew Cole, phenomenal student, but we did the senior breakfast today.
Oh, that's fun.
Catered by the Golden Corral. It was very nice, so we appreciate those community partnerships that we have there. And thank you. And so that was today. We will do graduation practice on Monday the 18th. We will do senior awards night on Monday the 18th in the evening to celebrate scholarships in college and post-secondary opportunity acceptances. And then on Tuesday, we will have graduation at 3 o'clock. So it's all things graduates right now. We want to celebrate those students, and we are very excited for the students who are meeting those completion expectations and the class of 2026 as a whole. So very excited about that. Outside of that, the Evening of Excellence, again, that was an award presented to me. I accepted on behalf of the whole staff. And it was really about how we are allocating resources at the classroom level. And one of the things I want to celebrate about that is in terms of the Pathway Partnership, it has been a growing opportunity and a growth experience for all of us on this campus, no matter what your obligation is to education. But what we have done at Mitchell High School specifically, and I think this is part of the reason why we were looked at for that award and possibly even received it, is because with the partnership coming in, teaching us all a new model of instruction that we have to adopt, we made the decision as a school, and I obviously put my stamp of approval on that, to make sure that we have embedded coaches within our building where teachers have that support that they need to implement. And so any type of growth opportunity is uncomfortable. And so I think the teachers in the room and any of the staff in the room would tell you it's been uncomfortable. But the staff that has kept a positive outlook on that, has been responsive to feedback, and have put in the work to improve their practice for the sake of the students, have received great coaching, great feedback. Evaluations are aligned to all of that, and we are seeing great outcomes because of that resource. If you look at any budget, most of the dollars are placed towards staff, what's the word I'm looking for? Compensation, right? That's where the bulk of your budget goes to in a good organization. And I'm happy to say that here at Mitchell High School, it is reflective of what's going on at the district level. They are shrinking at the top at the district level, from what I can tell. And a lot of the resources at the top, a lot of high talented people are coming back to the buildings, to the building level. And then I will say that we are a microcosm of that, in terms of we are putting those resources, that human capital, if you will, in the classrooms in the form of high quality teachers and instructional coaches, so that the teachers can continue to grow and refine their practice. So also, furniture, making the environments conducive to the teaming structures that we're putting forth. Multiple classrooms will get upgrades. We're investing in CTE programming. It looks like in terms of district and taxpayer voice, CTE programming is at the top of the list, and that is going to be something that we are going to continue to put dollars towards here at Mitchell High School as well, making sure students have post-secondary pathways that are not just 2-year college, not 4-year college or university. Yes, we want to continue to focus on that, but we want to make sure students are receiving industry certifications, work-based learning opportunities, as well as internships and all of the above, to make sure that they have the resources, the skills, the tools that they need to be successful no matter what they want to do after high school when they walk across that stage. So it was a great night. Laura was there as well.
Yeah, I have a video.
Yeah, and you took a picture of me and my wife.
Yes, yes.
So
I have to send it, because,
yes, thank you though.
But it was great, and Mr. Gall spoke very highly of the changes and how hard you guys have worked in the past 5 years. So, yeah, it was very good, very proud moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it was good, so.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, oh, please.
Can I just add a couple of things?
Absolutely.
On our senior students. This week, we also had 2 students who signed, student athletes who signed Trinidad State.
True.
Wow.
True.
A male soccer player and a female soccer player, so they will be at Trinidad State together, so that's good. And then we also have one of our seniors who is in Denver competing in the state track and field championships, and he qualified today for the finals in the 1 and 200 meter dash.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say, so if you can make it to the awards night on Monday, please, they don't take long. It's about an hour, but a lot of the accolades that Ms. Jordan mentioned, there's going to be athletic and sports recognition, obviously scholarship recognition, college acceptance. We're going to celebrate, of course, performance in terms of GPA. Bless you. So if you can come on Monday, please do so. Yeah, it's right here in the auditorium.
What time?
Is that
Do we have,
For 6:30?
I'll double check the calendar, or Terry, if you can. I don't know if you have your calendar up. I'll make sure, I don't want to put a wrong time out, so I'm going to check before I say anything.
So while you're checking that, I'll just also backtrack a little bit and say that the jazz band was highlighted this morning at the senior
Yes.
breakfast, and you did a great job. The media team, Robbie, where are you? Wave, come out and say hi. The media team was had to step up to the plate and take over, and they did a great job. They ran the sound system this morning, and the senior video, if I can objectively say, it went really well, and I know that they worked very hard on it. The seniors have been contributing toward it for a few weeks now, actually. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, a lot happening for student leadership, actually. So
Yes.
it was good times. Okay, I have figured out that the agenda you're looking at and my agenda are reordered a little bit. So
Sure.
if you bear with me, we're gonna cover all the same information, but I might have it in a different order than you,
Okay.
again. So here I go. So we're gonna, you can just give us that time whenever you find it.
I got it.
Okay,
5:30 to 7:30.
okay,
So, and it probably won't last that long. We just have it blocked off for 2 hours in the auditorium here.
yeah, super. And graduation practice is at
The Senior
9:15.
Awards night on Monday.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, okay. I'm glad I got that correction.
And then graduation at Robson Arena is 3 o'clock to about 5-ish. So, and that's on Tuesday.
Cool. All right, so we would just have one item of old business that we just needed to finish up a little bit with, and that would be if we have any updates, new information, or confirmation, or document to share about the SAC survey topic that we've been discussing for a couple months. Last I knew, the district was going to provide us with the documentation that says we cannot or should not move forward with the survey. Has anyone received that?
I can't say that I've received anything.
Okay.
What I can speak to is, it was pretty, what's the word I want to say? Apparent and made clear that we're not going to do a school or district-sponsored survey on behalf of the SAC at this point during any instructional or staff development time. So maybe it's something that if the SAC is interested in revisiting it, maybe it gets put out in some other form or avenue, but at this point, we're not going to use instructional time or staff development time to put that out through the school or the district organization at this point.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
In the meeting that you and Mr. Latino and I had, he said that it's possible to add questions, because you do interim surveys. So what is your feel, because you had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your feel on that?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. And so once again, we do interim surveys, gosh, was it twice a year before the actual 5 Essential survey? And that's a calibration practice so that that staff is thinking about questions through the same lens and using the same language. I'm interested in maybe looking at that when we get around to that next year. I know Mr. Latino did mention that, so that's a possibility, I would say. I guess when I said we're not going to use staff development or instructional time this year, or instructional time, I meant for 25, 26. But going into 26, 27, we can definitely entertain that possibility.
And a follow-up, do you do the interim surveys throughout the year, or are they
Multiple
concentrated
times.
at the end of the year?
No, multiple times throughout the year,
Thank you.
breaking that up. Mm-hmm.
I have a question as well. Is it possible for us to entertain the idea of, after students are out and staff have a day or two left, to send out a Survey Monkey, like schedule it to go out when it's just staff and do it then?
I'll put it this way, if the SAC wants to do that, you have to coordinate that. I'm not going to supply any email addresses, but I'm not going to run that through any district systems at this point. So I'm not going to tell anybody not to put out a survey if they don't want to do that, because anybody in the world could do that. But you would have to organize that and find all the contacts at that point.
And so another question, just for clarification. So if we wait and do it during the interim surveys next year, what is the difference?
The difference is staff right now, and feel free to chime in, staff in the room, but there is a great deal of feedback coming from my teachers who have heard about this over the last couple weeks, where it seems like there's a pretty large consensus that staff really don't want to take another survey at this point. There's survey fatigue. It's a real thing, just like testing fatigue is a real thing for students. I just don't think it's a good time for that. I also think that there's a lot of not the most pleasant perspectives out there right now, because there are people that have been non-renewed for different reasons or are leaving for different reasons. And so I think that results would be tainted, possibly inadvertently or advertently, because of the timing of that. And so what you're going to get next year in terms of the difference, to answer your question, is you're going to get a fresh staff with a fresh start, with a fresh outlook, who are not fatigued from not only surveys, but for because of the course of the just the lift that it takes in a turnaround school over the course of August through May, and are excited about going to summer and spending time with their family and friends, and not looking at another long survey for questions. Chime in.
Will echo that once students are gone and teachers are here, no one wants to look at a survey. If they see it,
they're gonna open it, they're gonna skim it, and they're gonna say delete. And that's gonna be the kindest response I can give you. Because sending things out to staff right now is kind of like pulling teeth, and we're still in the school year.
I agree with that, and I would also think staff might need a little more clarification on what information you're looking for and for what purpose. I don't think there's much awareness of that right now among the staff.
And I'll add one last thing. I think we're all exhausted. We are striving and sprinting the last day till the end, you know, and I don't think it'll be a clear picture of a survey to put out right now because of that and staff turnaround that's happening. So we'll get more positive when everybody comes on board and we start again.
And I'll even tell you at the beginning of the school year, you asked me to take a survey and you want me to write down things. I don't want to write down things. I got too much other stuff to do. Everyone's got too much other stuff to do. I'm gonna say, you know what, this is important. Survey.
And may I ask what the purpose is of that survey specifically?
So, do you want to speak? Does anybody on the staff want to go?
I'm gonna give my take as a new person coming in, but I've been here already three meetings, and I still feel very confused about the survey. I have to be honest. I don't know what the purpose of it is, and so coming into it, I would feel like at this point a survey is not something that I would want to put my name on. But again, I don't know the purpose of it.
Support. That's what the survey is about. Support. We're trying to ask staff members, and that's what I was talking to Principal Smith about. Would you mind us gathering questions from the SAC to provide to Principal Smith so that he can see what kind of answers he's getting from staff members to see where their concerns are
Support
in
for
the
who?
school, in the school. What is it, what support do they need? What is it that they're struggling with? What kind of things do they want to see in the school? These are the things, questions that we put out. Other than that, I'm not gonna do anything with it. It's gonna go to Principal Smith.
But
I
we have
feel-
so many supports in place. We have learning coaches, we have everything under the sun. If the teachers want to utilize it or not, that's up to them. I don't know why we need more supports when a teacher just has to say, hey, I need help. And there's like 5 people that can help them on any given day. Sorry.
And I think Principal Smith mentioned in the beginning that there's a challenge with the changes that are going on at Mitchell, right? But I would say the leadership is what I reflect in my classroom, which is high challenge, high support. I don't personally know of many people who don't have a direct line of communication to admin. It may not be you personally always, it may be Ms. Lavery or Mr. Latino. So I'm still trying to understand what kind of support.
There
we're
have
talking
been some staff members that have approached me and have said, I'm having a hard time communicating. And I go, well, have you talked with the principal? Because that's who you need to go to. I can't do anything for you.
Yeah.
That's not my job. So, and they, basically the response is, this is what teachers are telling me. I'm not making this up. They're saying, no, even though I go, I don't see anything being done to help me. That's it. That's all I hear.
So the survey's purpose is to formalize those
For
complaints?
him, not for me.
Okay.
It's for him. For him to see what kind of concerns teachers have, where they're struggling, you know, in their communication process. Because there are teachers that communicate and teachers will not speak. I know this from experience. I've been with this district for many years now. And all I hear from teachers is, they don't listen to me, they don't listen to me, they don't listen to me. And I said, well, you're just gonna have to force them to listen to you because I can't do anything for you except for maybe get a survey for Principal Smith, let the teachers respond to some of those questions or concerns, and give it to Principal Smith, and then he can approach whatever teachers, or in a staff meeting, let the teachers know what's happening.
Is the survey anonymous?
Yes.
Can they then, the teachers that have the concern, can they put something in writing anonymously and bring
Yes.
it to you?
No,
for
I don't
him
want
to
it.
see? Well, I mean, obviously, you guys are the ones doing the survey, so, yeah, can it be something where not everybody has to take it, but it can be anonymously done?
But then
Well,
it just
yeah.
becomes an anonymous.
Yeah, how do we-
Right, but I
This
mean,
makes
like,
no
if-
sense.
if
You
there's-
say, here's a survey, it's anonymous, and give it to Smith.
Yeah.
He still doesn't know who those teachers
Correct.
are, and that's not helping anyone.
No.
They're still saying, my voice isn't heard, wah, wah, wah. And what's getting done? Nothing.
And this
It's a
is
waste
something
of
that we
time.
can approach through donuts with the principal.
Exactly,
I
that's what I
don't
was just
hear it.
gonna say. I was just gonna say that Mr. Smith has implemented, he's mocked what, Superintendent McGall has done, having cookies with the superintendent. Mr. Smith has put that on his calendar. I believe it's been the first Monday of every month for months now. And here goes the thing. This is, donuts are provided out of his personal income. As in, he's taking money out of his wallet, his kids' mouth, his wife's mouth, not necessarily taking it out, but he's sacrificing donuts once a month. And they're not cheap. He goes to Dunkin'.
Good donuts.
Oh, you get
They're
it?
good.
Good donuts.
They're good. So he's like,
Oh, and I love the last donuts.
since he stepped in the building, it's nothing but the best for Mitchell teachers, Ms. Blackwell. And so he has made an example, but he's led by making an example of what the best looks like. And he's taken out his own family income to be able to allow teachers to come in at 7 o'clock in the morning to be able to voice their concerns, share out their successes. Just, it's an open forum. And so, the last donuts and coffee was pretty much standing room only. So they've grown over time.
Wow.
So, I mean, I feel like that's, firsthand information. That's a survey in and of itself. Every month, he brings back the information. Him and I have a daily meeting. I go off of the data and put out what I need to put out as far as communications and information sharing to our staff and our teachers. So that's happening. I feel as though that made more of he created a safe space and an open forum for teachers to come in and just say, tell me how you feel. What do you need? What do you like? What don't you like? Even if it's me. Tell me if it's me.
Or maybe.
Tell me if it's his secretary. Can I be real? Because this is the last meeting of the year. Tell me about the administrators. Tell me. And so people have said that, and at the end of the day, like I said, I come in here, I'm divinely assigned to the school to do my job. Mr. Smith and I have a system in place that we've been working for 5 years, and some people are comfortable with it and others are not. But I tell you what, it's good enough because now other schools are asking, how are you guys running that office so like seamlessly?
Yeah, and I know you want to say something, Lily, but just kind of piggybacking off of once again, I got to say, I've never been scared of the survey, but I think what you're hearing is there's confusion about the intent. And I think what you're also hearing is there's avenues for staff to voice without retribution, which is interesting, that whole concept, but that came up in the last meeting. So there's avenues. Once again, I said yes, and because of the way this is the third meeting now I've said this, the way things played out, district offices got involved, and I was willing before, because Rebecca mentioned it to me in the very first meeting, and I said, yeah, let's put it out the way it got released. Now it's muddled, let's say, and I'm still willing to do it, but I'm more willing to do it in the new year, next year, during the interim surveys that Mr. Latino, my assistant principal, met with Sharon and myself, and I'm still interested. I have no problem being transparent, but if people are too shy or timid or scared to come to me and tell me what their issue is. How many times you walk into my office today, Lily?
Oh, yeah. But
Without-
that man has no problems. I can shoot it out and I'm like, he'll say yes, and then he says no. And I'm like, what?
But how many times did you physically walk into my office today because you wanted to?
Yeah, quite a few times.
quite a few, because the door is open. When the door is open, it's a true open door policy. When the door is closed, it's still an open door policy. You just got to make an appointment with the secretary. So if you want to talk to the principal and you're not scared, you're not timid, and you want to voice something with me, I am more than happy to listen. And there are multiple other avenues to do so. And I am still willing to put a couple of questions, not to make the interim surveys extensively long either. But if there's something that the 5 essential surveys is not asking, again, I said it about 15 minutes ago, I think at this point, I am more than happy to entertain putting those on the interim surveys as we move forward.
Or to add to your guys' concerns, is maybe Smith can schedule a couple days that he can have people make times in there, 15-minute slots or whatever, and then it'll be individual, and he can spend that time. I've sent teachers to him because they're like, what do you think of Smith? And I'm like, he's great, you know what I mean? He has no problem telling me no or guiding me, and he's always given, the whole thing with Smith, he has only did the best. He's guided me, supported me, gives me choices. He never, ever said, Lily, you have to do this, other than when we have to do our lesson plans. But it's like, other than that, he gives me choices. So that gives me freedom for me to teach how I can teach, how I teach. You know what I mean? So I share that with the staff, and they said, okay, I'm going to make an appointment. And today I followed up with her. It's been quite a few days, and I was like, how did it go? And he says he was very open. And I appreciate you giving me feedback, because I was scared, and they were scared for whatever reason. But I said, well, did it get resolved, or do you feel comfortable with the outcome? And they said yes. So I think it just, who's approaching who, and if they have conflict or don't like something, of course people aren't going to like something, but I think maybe that would satisfy everybody, if him to open up, if that's a possibility, and people can just 15-minute times have the agenda and shoot. And then maybe that tension of everybody wondering what's going on will be suppressed a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion.
To my earlier point with the donuts with the principal, what if we just add a little exit ticket where it's like, do you need support with anything? I think there are ways that we can gather that information within the building without going through the SAC necessarily.
That's true.
A formal survey.
Maybe
that
part of
just becomes a complaining site.
Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe some of the questions that we're interested in gaining information on can be an ongoing survey as part of the coffee and donuts with the principal, and say, if there's any concerns you have, let's answer these standing questions on that. I love both of those ideas. Yeah.
I'm glad that the whole idea of the survey, or the survey itself, was postponed, at least until the next year. As a spouse of a former teacher here in this school, not with you, sir, but by the time April rolls around, they are so stressed with everything that has to get done. Whether it be a student that has forgotten to get a recommendation from them for go to college or wherever they're going to go, or whatever it is, there is a multitude of things that come up to them that they have to get done, that has to be done yesterday. One more thing, they would look at it and say, screw this, or maybe worse. But it's just not a good time. Maybe at the beginning of the year, towards, November, let's say, it might be a great time to ask a few questions, because it's not the same kind of stress that they're under in April and early May. And I also think there are some teachers, and I've been with the school district here and said, would know for a long time, that will complain no matter what. And they will complain to you, or they complain to Becca, or to anybody, just to complain. And if the survey came to them, they would never do anything with it. It would end up in their trash bag. So I think we have to be really careful if we're doing the survey to improve the quality for the teachers, or are we doing the survey because it makes it look like we're doing something? And it's really, it's a tough, sort of narrow road back and forth. But some teachers will fill it out, but I'm not sure how truthful they are come April, because they're just under such a lot of stress. Particularly if you're teaching advanced placement or, you know, an English class, a humanities class, that they're always asked for a recommendation for this, that, and the other thing by this time of year.
True. Good points.
Okay. There's been a lot of confusion, and I don't know why the confusion, because Rebecca was quite clear from the beginning, but there seems to be angst about something being anonymous. The 5E survey is anonymous. Most of the educational surveys that I've taken over the many, many years have been anonymous, because that way there's the freedom to speak. It's nice to have coffee with the principal at 7 o'clock in the morning. Some people will never be there, so maybe the timing can be adjusted. There are people who feel more comfortable putting things in writing than they do saying things aloud. But that doesn't mean that just because you get it in writing, it should be taken less seriously. So somebody posted something the other day that's, you know, like, why don't we just change the words from a quantitative or a qualitative survey to numbery and feely survey? You know, what we've got on the 5E survey is quantitative. What we are seeking here is the qualitative data underneath the quantitative. That's valid. And so it gives everybody a voice, even the people who think that they don't have a voice. If they choose to do the survey, they will be voicing their perspectives. Nobody's making anybody do a survey. It, just as with the 5E, 70% of the staff filled in the survey. If we get 70% or less, we get 70% or less, but those are voices that are gonna be heard. It's nothing,
I don't think the angst is coming
negative.
from it being anonymous. It comes from, when I asked for the purpose, it was based on teacher complaints. That's where I struggle.
No, thank you.
It's not the anonymous. I suggested an anonymous feedback loop to Principal Smith on paper. I don't think that's where the concern is.
For some people, it was a huge concern that
Yeah.
it's anonymous, but anonymity is.
But you wanna send out an anonymous survey, let's say that Lily has a problem, and she sends it, she puts it in writing and she sends it, it gets to Smith. How do we then know that it's Lily? We know that this teacher needs help, but doesn't wanna say that they need help, and they wrote it down, and now it's just a sea of 60 people, and we don't know which one it is.
And
It's
now-
like casting a rock into the ocean.
As somebody in Central Ed said, it's the data provide a lot of information unspoken to a principal who is curious and creative enough to seek it. And so if somebody puts something anonymously on a survey, then the creative principal, as creative at look who's tie, you know, the creative
This is an
principal
anomaly.
can think of a way to get to more definition
So
behind.
we're gonna make
behind it.
him, in his already busy schedule, weed through all this data.
Well, you know, people
And
say to
that's
me
a
all
lot,
the
when the
time,
person can just be like, hey, can I schedule a meeting, Terry? 15 minutes later, boom, boom, answer solved.
And my answer is gonna be you absolutely can, because one of our working norms is speak your truth.
Right.
And so,
We need to move
listen,
on.
yeah.
Exactly,
We
that's
need
what I
to
was
move
gonna
on.
say,
Hey.
really, this is caused mess, it's caused confusion.
We need
Some
to
of our
move on.
teachers are disappointed about, when they go back and watch these meetings, about how we are still trying to revisit certain things. When, like I said, there's ample opportunity. If this person, or who these people, whoever they are talking to you, then that comes down to, you need to do some self-reflection. You might wanna talk to somebody professionally to build up your self-esteem and your courage to be able to advocate for yourself, no matter what. no matter who it is, to be able to stand up for yourself. Because when things come to the office of the principal, now this might surprise some of y'all, sometimes it doesn't even have to get to the calendar. Because Mrs. Smith and I think alike. We train each other well. And I can weed out things real quick. And they're like, I don't even need to see it. Thanks, Ms. Blackwell, because I help them unpack whatever it is. And then I say, would you still like a 15, 20-minute meeting with me? And they're like, nope, I'm good. If you change your mind, you walk out, you're welcome to email me or come back in the office and I will schedule it. And so to me, that becomes a issue with self-esteem, an issue with something that they need to dig deeper in, that our insurance will pay for. So at this meeting, this is the last meeting, we have things we need to do. We need to start moving money around to benefit every kid at Mitchell.
We are clear on that.
So let's move on. That's on the agenda. Can we move up?
Let's do it.
Can we start moving money and handling other business?
Let's do
You
it.
all come, you want data, you want all this information from Mr. Smith. He prepares himself, and we're getting caught up on things like this. The district made it very plain that there's not gonna be a survey. Now we can revisit the survey to add on to our interim survey that we do that's put together very well, and then see if the district, or whatever they say on that. But as of now, we have some higher level things that need to be taken care of.
Well, go ahead, Edward. Go ahead. No, please.
I
No.
just want to get in there real quick, it's not about the survey.
Hands up, hands up.
Me and Mr. Smith met about the homecoming. Okay? We met. We saw a route that is in plan coming from
Swagger.
Skywagger, starting there.
Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
Coming up their street, which is Bijou, and making the right on Academy, coming down up Academy, so we go through that business district, hit Palmer Park, come down there, and then come back up, is it
Murray.
Murray, into the football field area, and get food trucks, everything out there. He was gonna let me know he was gonna talk to the athletic director to see if they can have the homecoming game here at Mitchell instead of Barry Gordy and stuff. I've talked to the police. We just gotta go through the mayor's office or the city council to get it approved. They can block off part of Academy. That's where all the conversation was coming. Because for an event like that, they consider it a city event and stuff. They can get out there in the morning and move those cones so they can direct the traffic to go on other sides. It was either that or I was fighting for Platt. Okay? It was those two.
Cause you gotta go across, Platt at some point.
Yeah, you gotta cross Platte at some point. So I will be corresponding. I'm sure me and Mr. Smith will be talking even when school is out, because we're gonna have to talk over the summer. We have planned to invite each middle school and each elementary school. Mr. Smith even had a great idea. Since Coronado does Old Colorado, why don't we just make it, what did you say, the east side?
Southeast side.
Southeast side homecoming parade.
With
Invite
all the feeder
Gordy,
schools.
the other schools, the Air Force Band, the Army Band, get everybody involved, the businesses that we would be passing through coming up there, the elementary schools. Now, I've already asked King Elementary up there by where I live at. They're interested, okay? They love to get their kids out there. And I've seen more elementary schools than I knew were over here. I didn't even know they were sitting up over here. This big event, and just let Mitchell be the sponsor. Let us sponsor it. I've even talked to some of the recent alumni that I know that graduated from Mitchell who are interested.
Okay.
This has been my idea, and Mr. Smith could tell you since I joined the SAC committee almost 5 years ago.
Okay.
I am determined we are gonna make this happen.
Okay, we sort of jumped into a new topic, so for the purpose of notes and for the recording of the meeting of whoever's watching or will listen later, I just want to close out the previous topic of the survey by saying it is recommended that individuals with ideas or suggestions toward picking this topic up in the fall, send them to either the SAC secretary, the new elected chair, and or Mr. Smith, or as the principal, to consider if and how it will be handled later. I only brought it up so that we could have clarification about whether we received that documentation. That was really the main purpose. So we have finished that, and I think that it'll go well. I think it needs a lot of time. So to follow up with what you said about the homecoming things, if we're going to dive into that topic, it had been recommended at the last meeting that you have a task force to take on this event and the planning of it. So if we have another piece of paper and we could pass it around and people could write down their contact information for you to have, and I'm going to suggest that you keep the same SAC meeting time perhaps, or if you want to offer out another time where you all, whoever wants to, or is willing to be on the committee, to continue meeting over the summer and working with Mr. Smith or whoever to get, to stay in a steady rhythm of planning this event. That's an idea, a suggestion, how you can continue the conversation without a gap, a summer gap. So if we have a paper and people could offer that, that would be helpful. Would that be helpful to you?
I think some of the main thing during the summer is just coordinating with some of the administrative
Yeah.
people that, because we're going to have, like Mr. Smith, we discussed in the meeting, we're going to have to invite these schools or to put it out there, we're going to have it on the letterhead of the school.
Right.
We already have the support of the district.
Right, but don't you need a
When
Mitchell committee? I mean, if it's for this community.
Yeah, the biggest committee that is going to come from Mitchell is when we go back into school and the committee is formed of the students.
Well, that could be.
They
but-
play most of the biggest role. They will be the ones putting their floats together.
Mhm.
At that time, usually some of the faculty comes in and helps. You also have, I'm sure each class has a faculty advisor. We go through them. This is really not only for the community, it's for bring the students together and stuff. And then some of the people else that would be on the committee is like for who I could work with, who could be my contact person to work with the middle schools and the elementary schools.
Right, so if you offer that out now, you may have some folks who have that kind of information or talent to offer. But to be honest with you, the task committee can come to the SAC and give reports such as you've contacted the police and blocking off the road is all set up and ready to go. That is an accountability type of issue. But other than those types of details, planning the homecoming event, which is a fabulous thing to do, is really no more of an accountability issue than the staff survey. And apparently, a lot of people don't think that's an account.
Isn't there a student
So-
body at Mitchell?
A what?
Student body. Student body.
Student council, yes.
'Cause
So-
they don't do their elections till next year, right?
No, they've done them.
They've done them for the next year? Well, the
They're voting
student,
this week.
they're the student council president.
Mhm.
Can I just make one suggestion?
Mhm.
Again, I was on the 11th school board, and you just need to go talk to the folks over at Coronado, because that's the only one who gets to do it. And it's quite a task, and,
Mhm.
it all comes down to the police department doing this, who pays for them. I mean, it's not that it's not a great idea. It's a wonderful idea.
But it's gonna take more than just the two of you, honestly, and some students. So having some more adult support, I would think, would be really great for you. So, anyway, it's a suggestion if you want to send out a contact sheet or whatever. Again, maybe it's another thing that the SAC takes over in the fall, I don't know. But thank you for the update. I'm glad you were able to get the preliminaries started. All right, so for new business then, we're going to continue with this super serious stuff before we get to the more SAC-directed related things. So, SSA accounts. You want to talk about your 26-27 budget? I'm sorry.
She has it in a little
Yeah,
bit of a different
I
order.
rearranged it. And
No problem.
honestly,
no
on
problem.
my agenda, I did have the vote next, but I felt like we needed to move into the school-related things, and then we'll do all the SAC next year things at the end.
Okay, so I'll jump in. So we have our SSA accounts, and SSA accounts are outside of the funds that I manage for the site-based budgeting, to an extent, in terms of instruction and general fund. SSA,
SSA stands for?
oh gosh, student, oh, see, yeah,
Student something.
it's, they're student-specific accounts, let's call them that, and don't quote me on that, but that does abbreviate to SSA. But they're student-specific accounts where they sit in these, and unless it is for that program, and I have a list of programs, that's kind of what I'm looking at over here. If you have questions about it as a SAC, I can tell you exactly where I'm proposing, and this isn't me by myself, this is my accountant in response to an internal audit, because there is a statute of limitations, if you will. If the money sits in an SSA account, the district can take it back. And so we were advised through our audit to move the money into accounts that we're using more readily and actively. And so I have a list of those. This first page, which would move it into, I'm going to do a little bit of searching while I'm looking here. 19.
Can we just approve it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to give an example. So there's a general building SSA account for athletics that we use quite frequently. We would collapse a total of $7,497.30 from smaller funds into this account to support student athletes. Miss Jordan left, 4 students that would go to state. We had to pay for Maddox Hubbard. He was our state qualifier for the 100 and 200. He'll compete for a placer on Saturday. We had to send him up to Denver, room and board and all of that. That type of fund, we could use this fund for that, right? I'm gonna give you another example. Let me search this one real quick.
Sounds like good to me, so.
480. And we've done this in the past in this SAC. Gate money. So money into, it would go into the gate monies, and the gate monies can be used for incentivizing participation. So a family walks through the gate at a sporting event. If you're the 20th participant or whatever, you get a shirt or whatever, like whatever we're going to use that money for. So these were all proposals that I approved from, you'll see Miss Lori Sanchez Mondragon, who is our school accountant. We worked on this together. I have to get 4 signatures of SAC members. I would like, the co-chair's bib is not here tonight, so it maybe didn't go to Sharon, but we need 4 signatures on every page, and then my signature, and then the money is protected and stays at the site level for usage at the student level. This isn't for anything else other than supporting students in different activities that they need. Another, go ahead, please.
How many funds?
So there's multiple funds that we are collapsing from that have smaller dollar amounts, like this, a 19, I'm gonna look at this one. 19,040. Let's give you an example. This is an extreme example, but this is an example. National Honor Society, which our National Honor Society has not used this money in years. $1.39 is sitting in the National Honor Society fund. And so that $1.39 will get taken back ultimately if we don't put it into a larger account. And I'm going to say, so that account, we are recommending that account goes to 19,010. That's the general building SSA fund for athletics. So then my delegation, I would say, Mr. Short, if a student qualifies for state or students are signing to go to Trinidad State College, let's do a nice party, cake, whatever, use those funds for that purpose. But we're collapsing a lot of smaller dollars. You can see I'm going to show Mr. Bobby here because he's sitting right next to me. We're collapsing about $7,000 into that athletic fund because students are starting to engage more in athletics and need those resources. Go ahead, Cassie.
Do we have like a VAPA one where we have so many kids, like Kylie Keller, she went to state, and do we have something that pays for those babies as well?
That's what I was gonna ask, what are the other choices?
Yeah.
Not to throw a wrench in, but I was
No.
just curious.
No, it's
Like,
fine.
We have Haley's drama, so
Yeah.
drama kids are special too.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, there are some. Miss Witchery's account is one of the largest, by the way,
Well, yeah, because she
because she
panhandles.
she works for that. Trying to find. I mean, there's hundreds of clubs where the dollars are just sitting there. I'm trying to look to see if there is.
Are
So-
they aware that they have money in there?
Well, some of the individuals. So the way the district operates, if I wanted to run a club, if you ask me, I'm going to say yes, run a club. Yeah, if an adult wants to sponsor a club and there's interest, as a principal, and I'm sure many others before me have done the same thing. There's a math club. Well, the math club sponsor who opened up the math club account to have that funding stream go directly for that could have been 20 years ago. I don't have a math club at Mitchell High School right now, unfortunately. But again, it's these accounts have been sitting untapped for so long because unless you are using it for that specific reason, it sits. And so the math sponsor who created the math fund for the SSA account, who could have been here, and this is just hypothetical, 20 years ago, it's sitting there. If it continues to sit, then it goes away. So I think I've made that point. I can't see an actual VAPA fund. I do see a drama. So there's a drama that, there's some options, basically. See, like here's a Coke and advertising fund. Well, the district cut ties with Coke, I want to say 2 years ago. There's no Coke vending machines in the building.
So that money, you want to siphon that into a general athletics fund?
But it's not just athletics. So
But I mean, can you just tell me what are the larger?
the other buckets? Okay, so one is athletics. One is, let me go to the 1940. That's the wrong one, 80. Gate money. So, okay, we want to put some of this into the gate money. So $565 would go towards gate money. Gate money is any ticket sales that we get for athletics or activities events. We actually do a pretty good job have a good night, Cassie. we actually do a nice job. We're starting to draw more crowds, so our gate money is actually getting stronger, but we use gate money again for promotionals and different things that way. But that is we're asking that $565 be transferred into gate money. And then we have the 19,873. Let me see what that one is. There's not too many large buckets we want to move them into, so that's the good thing. 19,873. There is a principals fund. There's a balance right now sitting at $2,411 that I could use as discretionary funds as the principal. That is the largest fund that we're asking to be increased, and that's at an amount of $10,064.13. That gives us the most flexibility across to spend money.
So you want to siphon
$10,000
smaller amounts into the principal
Yep.
fund?
So the principals fund, we're asking to siphon $10,064.13 into the principals fund, $565 into the gate fund, and $7,497.30 into the athletics SSA account fund. And then it didn't fit all on one page. Check that. We want to put a grand total of 21,000, close to 22,000 into the general principal SSA fund.
22,000.
Yes.
I'm just gonna
Did you
round
want to do something for drama or not?
I am open for suggestions. Let me see how much is in drama right now.
7,900 for the athletics?
Yes, 7,497.30 for the athletics.
I'm rounding.
565 for the gate.
And 22,000 for principal fund.
For the principal. And this was the other idea we had. Now, we can look at drama specifically, and I can bring that up. We were also thinking that, this was my idea, for transparency. That money sits in a, let's say 22 does go into the principal's SSA, right? I would like to make a process within building that if a drama club or any other club wants piece of that money, they have to write a proposal. I bring it to the SAC. The SAC votes on it at that point. So I would it'd pretty much be a checks and balances through the SAC, through me, for that specific account, that the SAC would vote to then release those $22,000 at that point to a drama club that needs support. And I bring that back. But
Or VAPA,
or whoever, right? And in that way, there's voice from my community that, okay, this program is thriving, but they maybe hit a hard time or something, or they're doing something really cool, like they're going to Spain for something and they need a little extra money, and we can vote on it. But they have to do a little bit of work because there's a little proposal process. That's good for kids to get into grant writing and practice around some of that as well. So that was my idea with the principal's account. That's why it's so large. Not that I'm just going to go and just start passing out where George Smith thinks it needs to go, but there would be a checks and balances and a proposal process for organizations to come and use that specific account that I would bring back to this governing body to then release it to that organization. That might, Cassie left, but that might address the different needs. And drama is one of our most, or our strongest programs.
So I have a question. If you can give me a quick answer, I'm getting worried about time. How does that work with other accounts? Like, for example, when you said NHS, I was like, well, wouldn't it be appropriate for that $1.39 to go towards student council, or the Coke advertising one to go toward like the pantry, or so they're kind of related to what they used to be? How does
That's a very valid idea. You'll just have to trust me, but if you want to sit down and look at the spreadsheet, again, Mr. Bobbitt's looking over my shoulder. this thing is like, in my opinion, the way I approach life a lot of the times, less is more. I'm trying to just get rid of some of these accounts. And then when the next National Honor Society sponsor comes around, I can reopen it if I need to, because it's really not a hard process. But some of them are not like, it's not necessarily apples to apples like you're maybe suggesting. It's almost better just to collapse it and then distribute it as needed. That's more or less my opinion, but
So are those smaller things in these big buckets somewhere?
not
Not really?
Not really. I mean, so for example, I see there's a Club Athletics 11. They just started putting numbers to the back of these. It's crazy. So it's Club Athletics 1, Club Athletics 11, Club Athletics 13, Club Athletics 15. So in essence, in some of this, we're doing what you're talking about. All of those club athletics, we're just going to put into the athletics big fund. So that funnel makes sense, right? And then all of those club athletics numbers that I just rattled off will go away.
Yeah.
Which then shrinks this list I'm looking at into a more manageable and usable,
Right.
meaningful
Broad,
list.
More broad, yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, less broad, more focused.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who oversees that athletics fund?
The athletic director directly. Me ultimately. So we're really only talking about those 4 funds to collapse everything into. And then there's still some that are still being used a bit more frequently, but these are just the ones where we're actually protecting money this way and keeping it here.
Nobody's touching them, so we don't want the district to get them.
Yes. And I'll be honest, again, at the district level, I appreciate the auditor coming in and saying, you're going to lose that if you don't start moving it or using it.
Use it or lose it.
Yeah.
So, you need 4 signatures.
Yes.
And I can account for 3 actual SAC members here tonight. Is that, or is there 4? Do we have several? Okay. All right. So,
Who wants to be my sign? Or, well, one, do we need to vote
I believe we do.
So, vote for that.
for the?
Who wants to make the motion?
Let's just do it. Let's just do it. You know, I mean,
So
everything
Rebecca's
you said is rational, okay?
So Rebecca,
Let's
can
just-
you make a motion from the SAC, as a SAC member?
Let's just go ahead and sign for what Principal Smith suggested, because I think it's a great idea, what he's doing. And he would be able to distribute the money, which I agree with, you know, because it's Mitchell money, so, and it's for the kids. So, let's just do
So
it.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so Rebecca has moved and Sharon has seconded to accept the request from the Mitchell administration to combine the SSA accounts into more general funds.
Focused buckets.
Okay.
So,
Okay, from the SAC, all those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay.
So
And
who are the
if
4
that's
people
who we
that
can sign.
Who would like to be my signees?
Who's the one to sign?
I signed it
Okay.
And I think I should sign as the co-chair.
Yeah, so let's just, okay, we'll start with Alyssa. Alyssa, do you want to sign now, or should we?
Can we do it after?
So just leave a line for Alyssa, and then just give me 4 more consistent. That'll be great, and then I'll
And in
sign
the
last.
meantime, we're gonna move on.
Okay.
Okay, that was the
Thank
hard
you.
part. Now we're moving on to the easy things. So for the UIP, the Unified Improvement Plan 26-27, where are you at in the process? Have you written any MISs?
Yes.
When can the SAC contribute? or-
Yes. Let me give a broad level overview of how we are performing
For the 25-26?
for the 25-26.
Perfect.
Okay. Bringing up a bit of data here. At the end of the day, I'm going to just really speak to MIS number 1, because without MIS 1 improving, Mitchell High School will not get off of the state accountability clock. Rebecca's going to yell at me because she can't see that, so I already know that that's coming. But I'll say it out loud so it makes sense for everybody. Really what the district is looking for in terms of MIS 1, Major Improvement Strategy 1, is what MIS stands for, and it's around high quality instruction, which is state mandated through our Pathway Innovation Plan. Every year, we want to look at a 50% SGP, student growth percentiles. 50% is, there's historical data that suggests that if a student closes a learning gap by 50%, they gain a year's worth of growth. We all know on this SAC that we receive students at the 9th grade level regularly, consistently, and I hope we're changing this at our feeder school pattern level. But we receive 9th graders who oftentimes come, and I have math data up right now, they come to us with 5th and 6th grade level math skills as 9th graders. So you can do the math there. The math I like, single digits, that's 4-year gap that they're already coming into high school, where we're now talking about, well, what do you want to do with your life when you're an adult? and these kids are struggling with basic algebra, maybe division, fractions, and that.
Yeah.
So what you see here this year, actually this is a 4-year trend. This year our median SGP for all of our students in terms of growth this year was 44. We didn't get to that 50% mark as a staff this year, so that's less than expected. So that's something we're going to have to look at. Once again, in terms of, I don't want to reopen the can of worms, but to this survey, because we are under great pressure at Mitchell High School and we implemented a new model of instruction this year, there are, once again, learning curves and stress that teachers are having to, spar with, if you will. 22-23 was 43, 23-24, 55. That was a strong year for us. 24-25, 50, and then again this year, 40, 44. So we're right in that mid 40 to mid 50 over the last 4 years. Now, this is where it's exciting in terms of student proficiency. We are remaining in the double digits for multiple years. In 23-24, it was 18.5% of our students were proficient at math at grade level. In 24-25, 21.7, and then this year 25-26, a bit of a dip there, but not crazy, 17.3. So really what we're seeing across the district is a 30% proficiency rate at math. So
But this is not the only school
yes,
that the district has that has this problem.
yes, yeah.
Is there anything they're suggesting that you need to be, or that the district is suggesting that they're going to try and implement?
Well, the model of instruction is going to be in year 2 next year. And there's a lot of things baked into this. So let me give the reading stats, and then I'm going to come back to that question, because I think we can kind of knock that question out, 2 birds with 1 stone. All right, I'm going to shift the data to the ELA proficiency. So you could see at Mitchell High School, we had very strong years in 23-24 and 24-25. This year was a dip both in math and in reading. This year we did meet the SGP for growth at 54.5, so we did meet that year's worth of growth, and our reading proficiency is 31.3. All right, what does that mean for MIS for next year? The MISs have pretty much been given to us in terms of what we need to submit to the state in alignment with the whole district. So I'm trying to bring up my documents. It's not cooperating at this point.
But didn't, what you just said there is you were able to move 50-some%
Yes.
up.
Yeah. Our SGP.
As far as, so it just depends on how much proficiency you had coming in. I mean, they could be so far behind that even that great number, you're still, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so if you look at it this way, a kid that came in the ninth grade at a sixth grade level, by time they finish ninth grade at Mitchell High School this year, they're maybe at a seventh grade level because of a 54. In order to make great gains in like year and a half gains, you do need to be in the 60. That's really small. Sorry, I just saw that. You have to be in the 67, 61 range. And we hit those a couple years ago, and then it's like cohorts, different cohorts moving through the system. Some cohorts are stronger. We see that, we're like, this ninth grade class is awesome, and then this 12th grade class is struggling, and we see that. But in terms of the MISs, we're not going to change course per se. My data's not coming up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think this is what I'm looking for. It just took me a minute. So right now we've been working on May 5th. We worked on MIS 1 for 26-27. Beate was part of that. Beate is going to be one of our embedded coaches moving into next year. We are still focusing on the student performance priority challenge, which is student proficiency for math and reading. So we're not, the problem is our kids right now, and this is across America because you mentioned that it's not just D11 or Mitchell. Across America, we are underperforming in math and we're underperforming in literacy. And so we are going to keep that as our number one priority performance challenge. Root causes, we think that short cycle assessments and common formative assessment gaps are our problem for not reaching higher levels of growth and proficiency. Our teachers have got to do a better job of backwards planning from a CFA, and administration and instructional leadership have got to do a better job of guiding teachers to create the CFAs that the teachers can then backwards plan from. And so that's what we're doing for our final USIP days, which is our innovation allocation in terms of paying our teachers more on the 27th, 28th, and 29th. If a teacher does not have a CFA, administrators and instructional leaders will help that teacher create CFAs that are standards aligned to the state. If a teacher or a department has a CFA, CFA stands for Common Formative Assessment. If a department has a CFA, then the teachers on the 27th, 28th, and 29th will begin to backwards design standards aligned lesson plans. So it's going to be differentiated, needs-based, going back to teacher support, needs-based, based on what does that teacher need in their classroom to be successful going into the fall of 26-27.
So those 3 days are for department chairs?
Everybody. Teachers and SSPs, not ESPs.
Okay.
And not administrators by that, but we'll all be here working.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that
The May 27th, 28th, and 29th after Memorial Day.
are those days that Mitchell picked, or are district staff not done till the 29th?
Teachers are done on the 26th. That's a teacher work day and kind of checkout sign out day.
Okay.
And then the flex days are the innovation pay per our innovation pathway plan,
Okay.
where Mitchell staff, and this is voluntary, they don't have to come, but if they come, they get paid per diem for putting in the work to prepare for the next year.
Okay.
Yes. And then, so in terms of our major improvement strategy for next year, we're looking at the D11 model of instruction that anchors all teaching and learning. This is what people need to understand. The model of instruction that Mitchell has already implemented in 25-26 is the model of instruction for D11. So we are already the trailblazers. No surprise to me, but we're already the trailblazers for the district. And I'm very excited. I think there's other teachers who are excited as well that we are going to be the model for the model of instruction, if you will, to address these root causes.
Is that model of instruction what instructional empowerment has brought here?
At the root.
Okay, so they're making IE broadly positioned across the district.
I wouldn't say it that way. I would say the influence of IE more broad and at scale. Because I don't know what all the contracts look like. That's above my pay grade. We've also worked on major improvement strategy number 3. And major improvement strategy number 3, we worked on May 12th. Major improvement strategy 3 is all around post-secondary, college and career readiness. Our major performance challenge that we see is that families are not meaningfully engaging in the FAFSA. We were the only school to have 100% credit for FAFSA documentation provided to the district and the state. The only school. That's out of all opportunity schools and comprehensives. We had 100%, but that data is deceiving. That just gives credit to the school and the district that students knew about the FAFSA. It doesn't mean that they're meaningfully engaging in and completing the FAFSA. And there's reasons for that. We have a high Hispanic population, Latino population, where, and I think with the current, tones, if you will, climate of the politics and what's going on, families don't want to divulge, some families don't want to divulge information on documents for obvious reasons. But what we see is if more families would get educated on the FAFSA and actually complete it, our students are performing well enough to have college opportunities if they can get scholarship and grant dollars. So that's what we're looking at for MIS number 3 next year. Post-secondary financial aid. That also bleeds right into the Promise Scholarship, right? We want to continue to push that. Families that complete the FAFSA can get a Pell Grant if the Promise Scholarship doesn't cover everything, although the Promise is a last dollar scholarship. Maybe the Pell covers the first part and the Promise covers whatever's remaining. But you can come out of Mitchell or any D11 school truly, but I'm talking about Mitchell obviously, bias, that there's no reason any kid shouldn't get a 2-year associate's degree paid for. Just do the paperwork. 75% of our kids are on free and reduced lunch. If I can get 75%, which is our goal, by the way, we want 75% of students in 26, 27 to complete the FAFSA meaningfully. You could pretty much correlate that to say the 75% free and reduced population now will get at least an opportunity to get an associate's degree paid for by funding sources or D11 philanthropic opportunities.
Where would they fill out there?
In the Future Center.
In the Future Center.
I just need family. See, and this is again, if you think about what our focus was at the beginning of the year in terms of our SAC, and again to Alyssa's point in terms of task force, parent involvement, addressing why parents are scared, and again, timid, intimidated to come in and fill out a FAFSA. Is it their literacy level? I would be intimidated if I was illiterate, and then you're asking me to dig into finances and understand this language, of an application, right? Whatever it is, that would be great, because if we can break down those barriers, I can get more students and families filling out this FAFSA and get them the money that they need to break intergenerational cycles of poverty. So our root cause, we do think that post-secondary financial aid literacy is lacking amongst our families and our students. And in terms of our strategies, we didn't make it that far down the road. So you can see my purple boxes are my major improvement strategies. We're going to continue to work on that as a staff. And then that third row in the middle is MIS2, and that's going to be all around MTSS systems, multi-tiered systems of support, where we can recognize students who need tier 2, tier 3 interventions if they are not performing in the classroom or inside or outside of the classroom in terms of our bag data and our on track for success, behavior, attendance, grades, B's or better, this type of metric. Or they just have elevated behavior referrals, or we've identified a mental health or social emotional health issue. We can give them those supports.
It's funny talking about the FAFSA. On my way over here, I got a text about my one child that's a senior this year. It was about FAFSA. Did you fill out your FAFSA form?
Mhm.
So I don't know where the text got, because it was just like, you know, those little 4 numbers,
Mhm.
but it came through to my phone. And I was just like, and it had Adrian's name on it.
Yeah.
Adrian, did you fill out your FAFSA form for college?
Mhm.
And stuff, so I don't know if they're just sending them out randomly,
Well,
but it just popped in my phone.
yeah, I mean, it depends. Every school in the state is required to have students complete a FAFSA or be made aware that there's free money sitting for you here if you qualify.
Mhm.
As long as the school, at the school level, can validate that every student or family was made aware or was attempted to be made aware, that's where the state kind of stops in terms of governance, but that's not where we have to stop. At the school level, that outreach, I think we can put some Title I dollars at this and make it a party and call it FAFSA night, but that you're still gonna have people that are,
You can have donuts?
yeah, we'll have more than donuts, we'll have barbecue or something, but,
Is Mitchell a Title I?
yes.
Okay, I didn't
Yes.
realize that.
Oh, yes.
But I'm thinking if we, have multiple opportunities, yeah, I think we can get more, but I think there's still gonna be something where we have to break down a barrier of, we're not gonna use the information to,
Send it to the, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna use it for any type of punitive
Right.
process,
You're not gonna report it to ICE.
basically.
Right.
Thank you for, thank you for saying that out loud. Love Irene.
Clarification purposes,
Yeah.
when we say FAFSA, we mean FAFSA and CASPA.
And CASPA,
right?
yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's right.
Do you have individuals who are Spanish speaking that can help families who are Spanish speaking fill out the forms and explain to them what it is that you're looking for?
Yes, we do, and we could do a better job, right?
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
also another barrier. They look at this thing, it's all in English, and they don't have a clue.
But it is in Spanish, right? Isn't it translated into Spanish?
I would have to check to see if the website is translatable, I assume so. But I think a little more literacy between FAFSA and CASPA, what the options
Yeah.
are and what the indication of that is, might be helpful.
Just to add to that, when my kids have to fill out the application to go to college, the fear and the delay of enrolling a lot, and some dropped out because they did not want to, and their parents said no to give their social security number. So, and that was like where they made the decision to leave the class. So, that is real, and even if you try translating it the best you can in class,
Yeah.
then it's gonna be confidential, and it's in there, their families are still fearful.
Mhm.
But it takes a long time to build up that trust that it's not gonna go someplace that they don't want it to go to.
I think too, the responsibility that's put on the kids is a lot. And the communication, particularly around the translation issue, if it could be somehow more adult to adult, like counselor to parent or something, that may help.
Even parent to parent,
Yes.
because I think there's a lot, as somebody who just filled out the FAFSA myself.
Congratulations.
I went back to college, for teaching.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think, especially in the Hispanic culture, we get, I came here when I was 11 from Costa Rica, and I remember having to translate everything for my parents and having to, I know it's tough. I know a lot of families that don't have.
But the information is protected in the schools.
Yes,
The federal
yeah.
government has no rights to come in to any public school.
Families don't know that, though.
And that's what needs to be
Tell
shared
them.
with families, that the federal government has no rights to come in the school and grab anybody or get information or access to the students' information. They can't come into the school.
I mean, there was even a,
Generally true, but they still don't believe it.
Well,
there was even a little confusion, like this morning for the breakfast, a family showed up and they said, well, where's your tickets? And I didn't hear the whole conversation, but I heard somebody tell them, well, to the student, if you didn't get tickets for your family, then you're not registered, we're not expecting you. So Again, I don't know if that's a language barrier or an engagement issue or communication. I'm not sure it could be all of it, but our enrollment is low and our engagement is less than that. So that brings me back to wanting to ask you what the MS3 is again.
MIS3 is around post-secondary
Readiness.
college
Yeah.
career readiness. We're going to target FAFSA completion. We want to hit FAFSA completion 75%. And then MIS2 is MTSS,
Right.
multi-tier systems of support.
So my own personal feedback is
Okay.
there's no engagement, not direct engagement like MIS toward family engagement in those three, but it's definitely student engagement, and we might be able to get like target family engagement with MIS3. But so I don't know if we can add another one. I don't know if you want to add a focus line toward MS3, but I think engagement has got to be a priority around here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of
I
it,
don't
to add to
disagree.
that you mentioned it, is that some of these families don't pay taxes,
Mhm.
so they don't have that,
They don't know what to do.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't
there's
have
no
anything to
FAFSA to fill
offer.
out because
Right.
it's not,
They don't
Yeah.
have access to it.
Yeah.
Well, if they fill out an I-9 on the job, because a lot of families that are Hispanic do fill out the I-9 form. I remember filling one out for a parent at Wilson, and they use that to pay taxes, so they
That's
do
another
pay
one.
taxes.
but some of them don't, so that's what I.
Well, if they get paid under the
Yes.
table.
And that's how they prefer to work, too,
So-
to keep everything on the low, so that's, I
Well,
don't
and
know what
then
percentage it is.
You have families that have a morning job, a night job, a middle of the day job. I mean, they have, I don't know how many jobs
Right.
that they, they need to maintain their household,
Yeah.
so.
So I have a couple more questions for you. So how can we, the SAC members, contribute, continue the conversation, offer feedback?
Yes.
Could we come to those flex days? Does the I don't recommend waiting till the fall, but you can, because your first UIP draft is not due until September
Mhm.
15th, I believe.
Mhm.
And so as a SAC, you could choose to wait till the fall. I don't recommend it, but tell us when and how we can continue the conversation,
I would-
because we do need to
Yeah.
close it out.
Yep, I would love to, so we're gonna be working on this to give our first proposal to the district. Actually, I think I have to have it up to them,
In June sometime.
well, actually next week.
Okay.
May 20th, if I'm not mistaken, so, that's next Wednesday. I would love to do I could even do a WebEx, like if we don't wanna come here after school gets out or whatever, but we can do a USIP-specific WebEx where I just kind of present what I submit to the district. Once, like you said, it doesn't have to get submitted actually until September, but they're asking for it before we leave for vacation, which I'm on board with, and we're close. We're probably about, 70% done with it at this point. But if the SAC would like, I'm working through June anyway, we can schedule a WebEx and get on, and I can kind of do a quick presentation, more detailed about what I submitted to the district on May 20th.
Is there SAC interest or commitment for that?
It depends on when in June,
Okay.
when in June.
I'm thinking I am going to Florida present on behalf of Mitchell High School and our community the 23rd through the 26th. Terry, is that right? So before or after that?
So
I think before.
can
Okay.
I suggest the first week of June?
Okay,
Before, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So, right after your flex days, you're still kind of in the mode, right?
Mhm.
You're not quite shut down yet.
I'm always in the mood.
So does the first week of June work for most people?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so, how about June 4th, I believe is a Thursday, kind of like do you want it during the day, or do you want your regular SAC time so you can remember?
I feel daytime. That way we won't have to come
Yeah.
at night.
Let's do it.
Okay, you wanna do like at 10 o'clock?
Give me, I have my calendar up.
Let's check with Principal Smith.
I'm pulling my calendar. And what was the recommended date?
The
Or the,
4th? It's a Thursday,
I'm
so it's a
open.
SAC day.
Let's do it. Let's do it. You want to do 10 o'clock on the 4th,
10 a.m.
10 a.m.?
Okay.
I may email some, my ideas or whatever. I'm still teaching that day. You
Yeah.
all have a few days left. I have 3 weeks left. So I may email.
Where do you
my-
teach at?
The School for the Deaf and Blind.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Any other